Hi everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Real Life Book. This is my look at the world, the prairies, the jungles, the people, the anarchists, the politicians, the rich people, the poor people. But speaking of rich people, this episode is to show you a juxtaposition between modern capitalist living and those living as the last free people on Earth. And as a Brazilian, the idea of indigenous people living primitively in connection with nature and in absolute harmony with the Mother Earth is something which appeals to me, and I'll show you a clip later on at the end of this video. So kicking off, things are developing quite interestingly in Egypt, so my advice is just remain very skeptical. It's fantastic that the people are rising up and speaking, and what we're seeing now in Egypt as well is the price of food rocketing upwards, and people are very hungry. And, price differentials in food and things being a bit strange is one of the inevitable outcomes of centralized planning, and when states try to get involved in the kind of free flow of ideas, of information, of food, and of resources. So I have to admit I'm purely an anarchist in terms of food distribution as well. I don't think the government should have any say in controlling prices and subsidizing one industry or another industry. To give you an example, in Great Britain and in the European Union, cattle farmers and sheep farmers are incredibly subsidized to the point that the taxpayer, the slaves in the livestock management program, are paying a lot of tax just to keep people breeding animals to be killed. And in a kind of free, anarchic world, if it wasn't in the interest of the farmer, because there is no state to give him subsidies, if it wasn't in his interest to kind of keep all those animals in a cage and then kill them because no one wanted to buy it, then it wouldn't happen. So state subsidy is all wrong.
Brand new Ferrari. These are the temptations when you want to join the system and have personal glory and very big boys' toys. To think that a car like this, about £100,000, $160,000 US, the amount of change an individual could do with money like this in, say, Africa or South America, helping small families, a person can get so much enjoyment, so much personal happiness from going personally to a very poor country and helping some people. You could do so much work with the amount of money that a car like this costs. Yes, it's beautiful in a material way, but when you think what a car like this actually represents, it does become very ugly. I don't know, maybe I'm just jealous because I can't afford one.
Point number 2, a lot of viewers, they do write to me a lot, and thank you very much for remaining part of the conversation. And many people ask me to mention chemtrails, or look at chemtrails, or discuss chemtrails. I, for one, am very skeptical in terms of all the different theories as to what they are, as in bubonic plague carrying barium-filled death machines flying through the sky and depopulating the Earth like that. I don't know, or whether it's weather modification, or whether it's radar-type metal particles so that they can communicate better. All I do know is that in the mainstream media and on television, they have mentioned geoengineering, and the Bill Gates Foundation has talked about using massive trails of condensation in the sky to try and cool the planet down. The German military got taken to court for their jets spraying metal particles, some sort of radar jamming thing. So when we look up at the sky and we see planes doing strange trails, it might not be a kind of death depopulation agenda. It might be something a lot more boring, but it's still they're still trying to keep it secret. So to hell with them. Why the fuck are they spraying our skies with this shit when planes should just be flying freely without these secret experiments going on? But anyway, just to bring some more lightheartedness, let's have a look at this clip now.
Hi guys, I'm part of the undercover anti-terror squad. I'm just checking you guys are real PCSOs.
Oh, well,
yeah, because we've had reports in this area that there's people, terrorists, dressing in PCSO uniform. So as a member of the undercover anti-terror squad, can I please see some ID?
You know, actually, that is our part of the role, isn't it?
Have you got any identification?
Where's that going to be aired to?
This, probably YouTube. We have a channel called The Love Police. But you know what these things are in the sky? Like, you know what that is?
That is the,
Have you heard of what those are?
You know what they are.
you know, the
It's heat.
Yeah? Heat.
Heat from the plane.
fumes from the plane.
When you're really cold, because you got hot air and you blow it.
Oh, is it okay if I film you guys? No, because okay. Well, that's to me. Let me just see if I can get it to focus again. What I want to know is how come some aircraft, when they fly over, don't leave a trail, and some planes, when they fly over, leave the big trail
Because they're higher up.
higher up. But they're all flying at 33,000 feet.
You see that? I'll tell you why that happens. It goes a distance away.
Yeah,
The wind up there, it's nothing comparing to what is down here.
yeah.
It spreads it out with time. So
So do you think those are those just natural clouds that they're creating?
not clouds. I would say that is the fumes they are.
The fumes.
The fumes, yeah.
I just think in the civil concept, when you breathe in hot air,
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm answering this, but anyway, you produce warm air.
Yeah.
Because it's so cold up there, that's when you get
The fuel is different to the fuel they use on the...
The aviation fuel is different.
What do you think?
What do I think it is? I'll tell you what I think. I think all around the world, the military and governments are doing experiments to do with weather modification and also radar technology.
Yeah.
And I think what these white things are in the sky, what we see here, I think what these are very small particles of something. And then they use it for like military communication or radar technology or other reasons. So I think,
No, but there's no right or wrong answer, I suppose.
yeah, because we don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Years back, I was seeing the same thing, so they could...
How many? 40 years back. 40 years back.
They had aviation then, didn't they? They had aviation 40 years ago, so it's the same
Yeah.
thing.
It was the same thing there.
Yeah. Anyway, because I'm the Love Police, can I please give you guys a hug on camera? Come on. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Take care, guys. Nice to meet you. Cheers. Bye-bye. PCSO chemtrail chat. Who the thunk it? Who the thunk it?
I've been thinking a lot recently, people, about forgiveness and about the kind of general understanding of human to human. And one of my theories, which I'm going to go with right now, who knows, if the cap fits, I might keep it. But I reckon if we spend enough time with anyone, you will not only forgive them, you will start to see the humanity behind them. So beneath all the madness in the media, beneath all the separation, beneath all the kind of reports of neo-Nazis marching against Asians, or Muslims fighting this, or Christians bombing Muslims, or Muslims beheading reporters, every tragic tale has a very sad story at its heart. And to kind of paraphrase a film I saw recently, hurt people tend to hurt other people. And one of the great tragedies of our society is that we take injured souls and we put them in jail. And as someone who has spent a couple of days in solitary confinement in a cage, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemies, much less upon people who we call criminals. If we look at statism as the ultimate crime, as the ultimate evil, what criminals are in our society, they are the symptoms of the original lie, the great noble lie, which is the state has some sort of monopoly on how you should run your life. And let me just show you a document which I'm having to deal with just now. And one thing I like about this document is I'll have to cover it up here, otherwise you'll all know where I live. But HM Revenue and Customs. This is the kind of livestock management group of the Queen and the royal family. As you can see, there's a little crown there. Very important to be reminded that we're in a monarchy. They keep writing to me saying that I must do this, and the language is very interesting. Dear Mr. Charles Veitch, blah, 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 you must do this. And I disagree, and once you kind of see through that illusion, it gives you great strength. Where am I going with this? Yeah, what I want to say is, as well as forgiving other people for their problems within the great original lie, which is state and religion, which we've managed to just about throw off in the Western world, this isn't to say that we shouldn't connect at the source direct to the universe itself and life, I'd like to describe myself as a thoughtful, sometimes spiritual person, but the word spiritual carries a lot of baggage of church, of rabbis, of imams, of brainwashing cults, so maybe, I don't know, I'm just a human being, and part of being human is this weird consciousness experience we have, which some people may label as spiritual. I caught up with Danny Shine just for a coffee, and I had a burrito with him, which was very nice. And when I bumped into him, he was like, the first thing he said, even before we exchanged pleasantries and how's your family, how's your girlfriend, la 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 la, he says, Charlie, stop using the term Zionism in your videos. And I defended my use of the term Zionism. But anyway, over to this video now for Danny's view on this.
Danny,
Yeah.
what's really going on?
Listen, Charlie, get your own questions, mate. That's it.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, Danny, is everything still okay?
Everything is still okay, unless it's not.
Danny, what is the problem with people using the term Zionism when trying to criticize certain people?
Oh, because firstly, Zionism is a word, and all words apparently are symbols. And we were just talking, weren't we, earlier about how symbols are used to manipulate and control people. So, for example, if I was to walk through central London with a big placard with a certain shape on it, I could create all sorts of problems, and I could incite all sorts of feelings in people. And Zionism is no different to that. Zionism is a word. It's a word that, it's just a word. It's just a bunch of symbols, a bunch of letters. And it's a word that means completely different things to different people and evokes completely different feelings in different people. And so one of the things I was challenging you about earlier is that when you use it, right, you mean something completely different than those people that you are even talking about. Because the majority of people that I know that would call themselves Zionists would not, they would not be the same type of Zionist that you're talking about.
Danny, would you describe yourself as a Zionist?
I don't describe myself in any limited form. I just am who I am.
Danny, have you ever been, I know you're a little bit younger than him, but have you ever been seen in the same room as Richard Nixon?
I don't know. You'll have to ask other people.
Danny, it's been wonderful catching up with you, and all the best.
You too.
As opposed to what he says, I do believe that using the word Zionism is important because it describes accurately